The 7-4 Baltimore Ravens head to LA for a Monday Night Football Harbaugh special against the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 7-3. Big Monday night game, especially coming off the loss in Pittsburgh last week. You see Pittsburgh lose Thursday night to the Browns, so it essentially it's another must win for us. So, what's your thoughts on the game this Monday night, Keys?
Um, yeah, everything you said is definitely a big game, a huge game. They mainly like it is a huge game because it's even bigger now because Pittsburgh lost Thursday. That opens the division right back up. You take care of business Monday, and you look at their upcoming schedule, our upcoming schedule. It's there. It's still there for the taking at this point. I know we're not touching on Pittsburgh, but I texted you the other day and told you I think that Pittsburgh Cleveland game. I think that was the biggest game of Pittsburgh season. Looking at coming off the win against Baltimore and then what they got ahead of them after that game, it was a huge game for them, a really huge game for them. Because they win that game, the division pretty much theirs. The division pretty much wrapped up. But now you lose that game and you won up. So I think the Ravens know all that. I expect them to play better. But you're going up against a defense that's better than Pittsburgh's now. So it's like you see what happens against Pittsburgh. You see, your quarterback don't play that well. Your receivers dropping balls again. So then now you're going against a better defense. So it's like, what do you expect? But I expect them to get back on track, man. I really do. I don't know. Like I say, I wasn't here on Monday. I don't know why the Ravens don't play. Why he doesn't play ball in Pittsburgh at this point. I can't figure it out. Because he had the time. The line played very well. They played very well in Pittsburgh. Receivers were open, so I can't pinpoint. What exactly happened up there. But like Chargers not no slouch, man. Is they are a good team. Their record is what it is because they're a good team. They are very well coached now. They don't have an incompetent coach. Staley is not there anymore. They're not going for it in fourth down in the opponent territory no more. They're not going for it in fourth down from the 56-yard line, the 46-yard line or something like that. It's different now.
Yeah.
They stick to the run, and now that Justin Herbert has had 9 weeks in that system. Now you see the passing game starting to take off. Now you see the reads are there. People are running open. So I just what the season has always come down to. I think it's going to come down to Lamar making plays, man. I need the MVP to get back to MVP level. I'm not going to say he's not having an MVP or doesn't deserve an MVP off of 1 week in Pittsburgh. So I just need him to get back to the level. I need the defense to get defense. Like I said, as an L, but the defense played well. So they played well in Pittsburgh. They didn't allow a touchdown. That's something to build on. As much as we get on them, we still have to give them credit. And how I look at it is, you turn the ball over 3 times, you miss 2 field goals, your quarterback played like shit, and you still have a 2-point conversion to tie the game. So you got that. That's looking at it as the glass half full. The glass half empty is you just can't beat them. Like they own you. That's the glass. You just can't. They own you. So it's like, So you gotta. I think the Ravens need to flush that Pittsburgh game. I think they need to flush it and move forward and move on because it's Monday Night Football. And what I'm expecting is Lamar plays well in primetime games. He always has played well in primetime games. He usually go off in primetime games. So I expect the Ravens to come out and play well. We're gonna get the injury report as far as Roquan and everything Monday. But I expect this defense to keep building. I do not expect to see Brandon Stevens for more than 10 snaps Monday. I don't. I really think now because John Harbaugh is a loyalist, he'll start the game. I think Brandon Stevens will start the game, but it's going to be an immediate switch to Trey White immediately. And I think he's going to have that side. I think Nate Wing's going to have that side. I think Brandon Stevens is going to split snaps with Nate Wing tonight. But that side belongs to Davis White until proven otherwise. I just think they got to be ready to go, man. You coming off a loss like that, I think now is you have more motivation now. You have a motivation because you came off, you look bad, you look terrible. Everybody see your Super Bowl team, you go in there, you lay an egg. And now you have more motivation because you see what happened Thursday. Now you see, okay, now you are a favorite once again to win a division. You a game behind them, and they beat you, and now you back to being a favorite to win a division. You should be able to see what's in front of you. And I'm not concerned about the way this team play football. I'm really not. I'm just concerned about the intangibles, man. And I told you this. What are we doing on 3rd and short? What are we doing on 4th and short? What are we doing at the end of halves? What are we doing with this clock management? Are we getting better 2-point goddamn conversion plays than what we got? So it's like, are we making field goal kicks? What are we doing? What are we flipping field position? I think the Ravens have the talent, the most, as compared to other teams. I think it's a very talented roster, top 5 talented roster. I feel like across the board. We at key positions, we top 5, and top 5 play at them key positions. I think it's gonna come down to intangibles. Getting a call in, getting out the huddle, getting off the field on 3rd down. Limiting, screen passes, not missing, assignments, communication. And that's all the things, not turning the ball over. That's all things that was on display in Pittsburgh, and them things got to be corrected. Like I said, I'm not concerned with the way this team play football. I just need them to start being consistent. And you just said it from the beginning of the season, Nick. The building blocks, man. Where are the building blocks? We missing. It's like we playing the damn. What's the game where you pull the box? And now we just dropping the shit. Like now the shit is falling out. Yeah, Jenga. Like we playing Jenga. First we was building. Now we just pulling out and the shit just falling apart. I just think they need to get back to just the fundamentals and just be consistent, man. I didn't see a bad football team in Pittsburgh. I just saw a football team that just got out coached and just wasn't they didn't have the tangibles right. They like turnovers and key positions not nailing at the end of the half. For what reason? It's just intangible stuff like that. So in all the games we lost, the Raiders game, the other games that the Ravens lost, it's just been a tangent. It's not because they've been a bad football team. It's just they're getting out coached and they getting the terms. So I look forward to Monday. I think the Ravens should look at it as an opportunity to show like what happened in Pittsburgh is not who we are, man.
Yeah, listen, I agree, man, and thank you for giving us some of that recap from Pittsburgh because we missed you Monday and needed to hear that too, man. But yeah, listen, as far as where I stand with things, I just want to thank God first and foremost. He's a merciful God. After that Sunday loss, I was feeling down in the dumps about our chances of winning the AFC North, and lo and behold, we get to Thursday, Snowmageddon, and Big Jameis Winston, man. What more can I say? He's like the perfect mix of mid and good, right? Like he's so mid, but he's really good though. At the same token, like you see why he was the number 1 pick, and I want to shout him out because just his ability to galvanize and bring people together and the maturity he's shown, even though it's mixed with some goofy and silliness, man. He's pretty much, I think, earned himself at least a serious consideration to start next year, either for the Browns or another team. And I think he deserves that too. He's coming a long way, and he's grounded in faith, and his teammates believe in him, and that's saying a lot given the year they've had. So shout out to him, and thank you for beating the Steelers, boy.
He definitely well respected.
Yeah, for sure. And he can throw the football. I mean, what more can we say? I mean, he makes some questionable decisions, but he's a gamer. And you saw that Thursday. And with the Steelers' loss, our title odds increased from 34% to 52%. So now we're favored to win the AFC North. We still have an opportunity to play the Steelers at home in a few weeks. So we do have things in front of us. The Steelers' upcoming schedule is at the Bengals versus the Browns, at the Eagles, and at Baltimore in Week 16. And then because of everything as well, we have a 97% chance to reach the postseason. Right now, we sit in the 6th seed. The Chargers are a seed ahead of us in the 5th seed. And it's very interesting, this matchup on Monday, because it seems like the Chargers were built in our image. They have their top 10 in total yards given up on defense. They like to run the ball. I think an interesting wrinkle that they have kind of introduced into their offenses since their bye week in Week 5. And remind you, Justin Herbert had foot and ankle injuries to start the season, but since their bye week, their offense is 8th in the league, averaging 370 yards a game. And you can see how the passing game has taken control in that offense. And we kind of used to ask, what is this fit with Greg Roman and Justin Herbert? What are they seeing that we don't see? Is Greg going to be able to open up the passing game enough to extract the talent that's in Justin Herbert? He's not a read option quarterback. He's not one of those type of guys that you have experience with. So how are you going to blend your coaching philosophy to match his strengths? And you've kind of seen over the last several months or a couple months or so them trying to blend in Greg Roman principles with Justin Herbert talent, and it's working. It is working. They're still running the ball, but the play action game is strong. They're getting their receivers out open in space. I'm seeing route concepts I've never seen before. Justin Herbert's getting out in space and running, showing his athleticism. So it's working out for them. Lad McConkey's looking good. Quentin Johnston is making plays. I think that's somebody. Both of those guys are receivers that we're gonna have to look out for. But specifically Johnston in the red zone. I think he scored like 6 of the last 8 weeks. Definitely have to keep an eye out on him. And Lad McConkey, he's their chain mover. So they have some guys over there that can play football. And mind you, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, they can't wait to see us. Just like Patrick Queen couldn't wait to see us last week. So we're going to have to just play good, sound football. This is going to be one of those games where John is going up against Jim. Jack and his wife are so distraught they couldn't make the game. So it's going to be a brotherly rivalry, and I don't think Jim is going to outcoach himself or do the things that lose football games. So I think John is going to have to match that energy. John is going to have to put up a great coaching performance. And as far as John's concerned, it's not like he's calling plays. It's not like he's influencing play calls. So when I say he needs to coach his ass off, the challenges, the timeout usages, being able to step in and guide as far as, if he sees something, a trend going in a certain way, being able to advise coordinators as far as to get us out of that rut or to get us out of, something situationally. But both quarterbacks, we should be in for a treat. Both quarterbacks, typically excel on Monday Night Football. I think Lamar is 6-2. With 20 touchdowns, no interceptions. Justin Herbert is 6-3 with 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So, like I said, the Chargers have won 4 straight. They're made in our image. They're like 5th in the league in sacks right now. So we're going to have to just play a complete football game on both sides of the football. Brandon Stevens, I hope to see him less. I know that we got Denard King as well. So it seems like possibly we have our Darby and our Rock Ya-Sin from last year, those veteran stopgap type of guys that can give us the snaps we need this season, and we figure it out as far as moving on without them next season. But right now we need those bodies because trotting Brandon Stevens out there just isn't the wave. Like, we cannot continue to do that. He's out there getting used and abused. At a certain point, it's criminal. You can't just let somebody get assaulted like that.
Mr. Trail.
You got to call the hotline on his ass and get him some legal help because this ain't right.
Trail mix.
Bro, it's getting really bad out there. And I did like how Tre'Davious played the ball. I think we can use him situationally and then increase his role, like he said, and see just how much he has to offer, because he was good in closed space and in those red zone snaps in closed space where nobody can burn him. I like what he gave us. He played on the ball, and he showed those Pro Bowl instincts. So more of that. Definitely, I know we made some changes in the safety room as well. So we just have to build on some of those adjustments made in the secondary and hope that we can slow down their passing offense, because they're running lightning hot right now. And we've reached the must-win category, and people might scoff at that, but it's kind of must win. If you look at our schedule and look how important this game is, if you want any chance of the AFC North, you kind of have to keep pace at this point. And they are neck and neck. The Chargers are neck and neck with us in seeding. It would behoove us, especially being that this is a conference game, and conference schedules or conference win-loss records are part of tiebreakers. Once it gets down the line, that's going to be part of tiebreakers as well. So why not beat a conference team that's ahead of you in the seeding? Like, you need to win this football game. I think we will, but we got to prove it out on the field and be consistent.
Yeah, the Browns.
Yeah.
I about to say the
I
Browns
had
get your.
talked.
Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
What? No, go ahead.
I know I was about to say the Browns get your lifeline. You gotta take advantage of it, man. They threw you a wrath, and now you gotta take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about conference wins, Nick, and I was talking to Keys about this earlier this week. When you look at the AFC playoff landscape, I mean, you look at the AFC East probably getting one team, the AFC South getting one team, but the North and the AFC North and the AFC West probably have four teams vying for three wild card spots. So, like you said, the time is of the essence, big time game. Um, I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at the Chargers defense. 11th in total defense. They're allowing 317 yards a game. They 12th against the pass, 10th against the rush. But they got playmakers all over the field. Most notably, Derwin James Jr. He's been playing lights out. He's healthy for once. You talk about Joey Bosa, Denzel Perryman, and Khalil Mack. They can really get to the quarterback as well and make it a long day. I mean, if you remember last year, it was a 3-point game under 2 minutes until Zay Flowers scores the long touchdown, and we go up and win 20-10 last year. So, and that's with a less than thou coach in Brandon Staley. So, you're looking at a team that's well coached, a lot of familiarity with Greg Roman, Harbaugh, period. So it's a game where the Ravens got to come out and they got to execute, especially given the results of the last few days. We can run off a couple wins. If we play the way we're capable of playing. But that's the issue. Can we do that? And so I'm just looking at this offense to build. Like we talked building blocks. Like last week, I just think those games are anomalies to me. Like it's just a team they got outnumbered right now. That's not how we play against 29 other teams in the NFL. So I'm looking for Lamar to come out, probably play lights out, put on another lights out performance. But this offense on a short week with the Eagles laying around 6 days later, you can't really play with your food Monday night. You got to come out and really take care of business. We'll see what the defense looks like with Kyle Hamilton and Darius Washington on the background. The secondary. Probably no Roquan Smith, so you're looking at extended snaps from Malik Harrison. My feelings on that one, especially when you think about the Chargers' run game. So are you going to be able to make tackles, especially with J.K. Dobbins in space? So that's what I'm really looking at for the Ravens on Monday night. It's a game that I know we're more than capable of winning, a game that we should win. But how much of a hangover do they have from Pittsburgh last week?
Yeah, and just to pick up on that, like I've seen the Bengals go up and down the field on this team, so they can be had. It's about what we going. Are we going to buck up defensively, man? Like you said, Nick. What we going to do against this passing game? What we going to do when Quincy Johnson shooting down the field or McConkey Lab going across the middle? I'm confident, and if Lad going to be in the slot, that I'm confident that Marlon can neutralize him. And Marlon's having an All-Pro year. I mean, as much as we talk about him, he's having the goddamn All-Pro year. He got us to turnover in Pittsburgh that we needed. They just take advantage of it. And it seemed like every week and out he's getting a turnover that the Ravens need week in and week out. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we can get to the keys of the game. But it comes down to I think my key to this, my main key to this game.
Hold it.
Hit me on a slant. Give me keys to the inside. They took the keys. We don't have any keys.
Now give me the keys. Oh.
I talk about the defense. That's not. I think that's his right point. My main key to this game is just Lamar getting back to. I want to see him have a bounce back performance. From Pittsburgh because he missed a lot of reads. A lot of people was open. But like I said, every quarterback have a bad day, and a lot of quarterbacks have had bad days in Pittsburgh. So I want to see him bounce back. I want to see him be the MVP Lamar that we need him to be Monday, especially like you say, if Roquan not going to be there. I seen Joe Burrow go up and down the field on this defense. I want to see the same thing from Lamar. So that's my main key. I want him to sit back there, be the quarterback that we used to be, and wipe that nasty taste out of his mouth and move forward. Go there, play well, win this game, and let's move forward.
Nick, what's your key to a Ravens win?
Honestly, just execution. We know what type of team we can be when we're firing on all cylinders and we're playing a crisp brand of football, but with turnovers and mistakes, penalties, this is something that as far as execution from play to play, we just need to take it one play at a time and just make sure that, all 11 guys on the field are doing their individual job to the best of their capability. And, from there, we can kind of build on bringing some of these penalties down, these self-inflicted errors, the fumbles, drop passes leading to interceptions, the sacks, even dropped interceptions on defense, things like that. We need to continue to kind of just try to get out of that rut, because we're not going to be a playoff team that everybody thinks we can be if we're leading the league leading the league in penalties, and we're not winning the turnover margin on a game-to-game basis. Our defense isn't taking the ball away enough, and our offense, in opportune times are giving the ball away. And mind you, this isn't Lamar only has 3 interceptions. There's only been so many turnovers the offense has had. It's just kind of when it's happening, and the fumbles as well. So we just got to clean up and execute, man. Even on special teams, when it comes to just making a simple 40-something yard kick, just got to execute, punting the ball, field position, knowing when to fair catch or bounce or let it bounce in the end zone.
Intangibles, man.
It's just the simple things that you see the Steelers do consistently, the Chiefs do consistently. When you beat those teams, you actually got to go and beat them. Like, that's why I was shouting out Jameis, because the Browns actually went up there, went in their home field and actually beat them for 60 minutes. Now, was it cute? Was it pretty? No, but it was
AFC football.
It was
AFC football, not.
there. You go. It was AFC North weather, AFC North football, and they went out there and took a victory from the Steelers. They didn't get handed anything. It wasn't no ref. We didn't have to talk about the rest of the game the day afterwards. It was a sound victory, and that's kind of what we have to do. Slow this game down and make sure that we're when we get into the red zone, we're scoring touchdowns. When there's a chance to get points, we take points, and just gotta execute.
Yeah, my key to the game is penalties. You can't continue to be the highest penalized team in the NFL. I mean, I'm looking at the penalties from Sunday. So in the first quarter, we got a 10-yard holding penalty by Ronnie Stanley that negated a 6-yard run by Derrick Henry. So you're ahead of the sticks. Now you back again. First quarter, again, another 10-yard holding penalty on Makari that negates a 6-yard run by Derrick Henry. So you essentially in these second and first and 20, second and 15s, like you putting yourself in these inopportune situations because of these penalties. I mean, you look at the ineligible man downfield on Makari that negated the Jackson to Henry screen pass. What's the next play? The Justice Hill interception. So all these penalties have trickle down effects essentially. And so if the Ravens don't clean it up, it'll be another issue for them come Monday night. Because if you look at the Steelers, what did they do? They controlled the clock. They held the football. They kept themselves in a short down and distance. The Chargers have a more than now adequate running game to. If they in second and 2, second and 3s, they're gonna pick them up all night. So the Ravens got to play a clean game Monday night, and if they do that, they'll be in every position to win any game they play. But
Right.
It's just I've never seen a Ravens team this undisciplined with these many penalties.
Yeah, and to your point, every time if the Ravens didn't turn the ball over or they didn't have a penalty on the drive, they scored each time in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So that goes to show, and they had, like you said, they don't have the ball 4 or 5 times really. So they just did a good job. Like Pittsburgh knew if the Ravens had won the time possession game, they had the ball more, they won. They couldn't stop the Ravens. The Ravens stopped themselves. That was all to damn turnover on the first drive of the game. You got 2 turnovers in the first half that led to 6 points. I mean, that's not that. It's 6 points that you kick and miss. So that's pretty much the game. That's pretty much the game. It wasn't that they outplayed the Ravens so much. What is it? It was an evenly matched game, and the Ravens just made the mistakes that they made. If they don't make those mistakes, they probably beat them by 2 touchdowns. Like they were going in. It wasn't a hard game for the Ravens to win. It's just like you said, Makari, the illegal man, even though that had nothing to do with the play. I don't think that was the proper penalty to call. But it's stuff like that. Like, even when Nelson Aguilar catch that got called back.
Yeah.
It was a penalty on that play too. So it was like, you can't. I mean, like you said, if you keep on doing stuff like that, you're not gonna make the playoffs. And if you do make the playoffs, you're gonna be gone home very soon. Gotta clean it up, man. And that's what I say. That's what I mean by consistency and intangibles. I'm not worried about the Ravens being able to score 30 points. I'm not worried about defense being able to get a turnover. I'm worried about if we got the ball last and we driving, if somebody commit a holding penalty. I'm worried about if saying on defense
We're gonna
side,
use two timeouts on the first drive.
Yeah, exactly. Or if the offense, if we on defense, offense got the ball and it's 4th and 5, and then we get a holding penalty on defense. I'm worried about the intangibles. I'm not worried about whether this team good enough to. I think this team is good enough to win. Are they good enough? Are the tangibles good enough for them to be successful? Can they get over themselves? And so far this season, I mean, I don't think they have. I think the Ravens are better than 7-4. I just do. I think the talent wise, they better. But your record is what your record is. So they are a 7-4 team based on you lead the league in penalties. And like you said, Nick, you turn the ball over it's the timing of the turnovers, man. It's not a lot. It's just the timing. So it's like you just got to be better. You got to be a better coach team. And when we talk about intangibles, it comes down to coaching. You have to be a better coach team.
Yeah, insert John Harbaugh. All the things you guys are talking about, it starts and stops with John. And he has to be a better CEO. I've talked about it before where, again, he's not an X's and O play caller type of guy. He's not giving you expert subject matter opinions on or inputs on offense or defense. What he could be better at is just being a better CEO and just making sure that, anything he can aid us in, he does. Like, calling the right challenges, not wasting a timeout when the challenge, the likelihood of it winning is low. Not, like you said, to timeout management, making sure that we're not burning 2 timeouts on the first drive of a football game so that, you get to the end of the second quarter and now you're trying to run a hurry up 2-minute offense and you don't have any timeouts. You know what I mean?
They can't get out of bounds.
Exactly. Certain things like that. Making sure that, everybody's just in the right frame of mind to play a football game. And, going up against Jim, you would hope that, there's some extra intrinsic motivation to kind of have this right on Monday. We'll see how the Harbaugh Bowl is. I know that I'm going to nauseate at the amount of references to the Harbaugh family. And
it's gonna be a lot of glazing Monday night.
But
do you think they should bring in competition for Tucker? Do you think they need to bring somebody in, or how do you feel about
it? As far as the Tucker situation, we've been talking about it dating back to last year. We noticed signs that it just wasn't Justin Tucker. Like last year, he was missing from 50 yards plus, and it was like, wait. This is the guy that I know that can hit 60 plus consistently, and somebody that we're, the most accurate kicker of all time. We're not used to things not going through the upright. So we noticed it last season, and it's a trend that's continuing into this season and worsening. People mention Jordan Stout and the holding on the kicks. I think that's baloney and a sack of shit, man. You can't blame the holder of the kicks this far deep into an issue. Now, if it was a few kicks and, he was just starting out, yeah, we could look to that and say, you know what, there's a stark difference between the previous placeholder and this one. Let's work on technique. Let's work on some things or maybe change personnel. But, man, we're in it, man. This dude's been doing the same. Like, when the kicks are good, we don't talk about it. At a certain point, we just got to look at Justin Tucker and be like, yo, maybe it's too many orchestra commercials, you know what I mean, for rural farms. Like maybe you a little too goofy on the commercials because the main thing ain't the main thing anymore, and it's become a liability. So you ask, should we bring in competition? I do agree with Harbaugh. Our best bet is to try to get him as right as possible because I just don't know who we could bring in to compete that's going to just be better than Justin Tucker, or we'll have more trust in than Justin Tucker because of the equity he's built in this city. But definitely going into next season, well, I say this, man. If it continues and get worse over these next couple games, Keys, I think you're forced, right? You're forced to kind of consider. You're like, all right, yo, because there's some good kickers out, and there's been some kickers that have gotten hurt this season. So there's been a lot of kickers that have come in and done well, and then when the starter comes back, they kind of go to the wayside. So there's some people out there that we could bring in for competition. But as of right now, today, you just gotta hope that Tucker gets back to being Justin Tucker, at least more of a resemblance to the Justin Tucker we knew. Because this guy that we see out here, he's akin to Billy Cundiff. Like I don't trust him. When he trots out there, I don't trust him.
I agree with saying, but I don't. I mean, as far as competition, I think so because I think he's done. When I seen him miss that 47-yard in Pittsburgh, he's done. Like that's a kick I've never seen him miss, and not even I'm talking about the atmosphere, the pressure. I'm used to him making pressure kick. That was a pressure kick. 47, you down 3, you need this or whatever. Like that turned the whole game around. So I think he's done. I've seen like maybe like you said 1 or 2 here. All right, cool, whatever. Like kickers miss kicks. This is the problem. This is the problem. It's been a problem. I don't think it. When somebody I was in the okay, whatever. He could struggle, whatever. Let's get him together. But once he came out and said it's the field conditions and the other goddamn kicker's going 6-6, get him out of here. Because now you're just looking for now you suck and you're looking for excuses. So it's like that was the issue for me. Don't come out. Don't the same way George Strait. Don't come out and blame the weather. Don't blame the field. You got somebody else here. The other team had to deal with that same weather, and Chris Boswell went 6 for 6, and he made it 50 yards. Like you saying, though.
And the wild part is when the weather was fine, no precipitation, the offense ain't do nothing.
Yeah, so it's like I ain't like that. I don't like the using the field thing. Is if you just say you was bad and you trying to get better. Simple as that.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I wholly agree. I just wonder, like, is there a better option out there right now?
Probably not. Probably that's the thing. As bad as he is, probably not. But if we got a 48-yard field goal to win a game Monday night, dog, I don't trust this guy.
It goes back to management of a roster and assessment of issues, right? And that's Harbaugh's job as far as to have a pulse on his roster and be able to make some type of suggestions to Eric, you know what I mean? Or to at least relay the pulse of the team to Eric so that Eric can make decisions in the offseason. And nobody's saying we should have replaced Justin Tucker, but the trends were shown last season, right? Alarming trends because it was so out of the ordinary of what Justin Tucker is. So when you see those red flags, you don't run them from the red flags. It's not that you want Justin Tucker to struggle, but you see some differences that you've never seen before. It's kind of like if Michael Jordan or it's kind of like if Steph Curry went through a 3-point shooting streak to where he just wasn't hitting his threes anymore. And you just looking at it like, yeah, you might not want to panic, but you're going to have to look at certain things. With the Klay Thompson situation, it got to a point where like Klay wasn't Klay no more, and they had to kind of come to grips with it. So that's a better example.
Yeah, I think it just goes to the superstar persona in professional sports where you feel like they can't be criticized or they can't be benched. Like they play bad, sit their ass down. Like when bums play bad, they lose their job or they get a lineup. We coddle our superstars. When they play bad, they should be held accountable. I don't feel like Justin. That's the thing. I don't feel like he's been held accountable. When you come out and say we just want to fix it, this, that, and the third. Like no, say how bad he's been. Like let's get that out there.
And that's why I was saying that Harbaugh needs to have a better pulse of the team to be able to relate to DeCosta, because he could have probably told DeCosta like, yo, I'm a little worried in Justin. I still have faith in him, but is it time to start bringing in competition during training camp? Right? Maybe an undrafted person, maybe somebody that slipped through the cracks, kind of like Justin did. Right? He wasn't drafted. He was somebody slipped through the cracks, and we brought in, and he proved himself through competition. And then it got to a point where it was like, yo, that kid is pretty good. Maybe we should keep him on. And maybe we get to the point where we do the same thing. But this is something that we should have been proactive on.
Yeah, I just it's weird what they saying about it, because it's like, you change it you've been the GOAT kicker all this time, and now you coming to me saying your mechanics are bad. No, you just don't have it anymore. Usually you change your mechanics when you're bad trying to get good. You're not changing mechanics when you've been great and now you're bad. Like it's not a mechanic thing.
And if it's the holder, You don't think they watched film for 2 seasons? Like,
Right.
you don't think they would have pointed that? You're like, wait. Maybe we can improve here. Like, stop. Just say Justin Tucker is struggling. It's okay. Because if Lamar throws an interception, y'all the first ones. That was a bad throw, Lamar.
Exactly. Like, you got to be able to, everybody. I'm as far, like I said, I'll criticize Lamar. I'll criticize. Nobody is above criticism. If you play bad, you're gonna get criticized. And I don't feel like, I don't think the Ravens hold. I just don't think he'll hold the candle, man. He's
Justin Tucker is a fan favorite. You couldn't. There's a while you cannot say anything about him. And shoot, you couldn't say anything about him to me for a while too. But I mean, things change.
Good.
They change real quick. Real quick, talking about the Chargers, and it's somebody you've talked about a lot in the past, Nick. But Justin Herbert, he's having a hell of a season. You know, he's got 2,100 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception right now, and he's actually leads the league with 246 pass attempts without an interception. What have you seen from him this year different from other years?
He just doesn't have a coach that crashes out. Simple as that. Justin Herbert is Justin Herbert. He been Justin Herbert. He gonna continue to be Justin Herbert. There's a reason why, talent-wise, people look at him as like, yo, he's one of those guys where you got to put him in the upper echelons. You don't just break the records. Like, coming into the NFL, you don't break the records that he's broken as far as pass yards and touchdowns in a certain amount of time to start your career. You don't just break those records just because you just some regular dude or somebody's hyping you up. Like, no, the kid is talented. Now, as far as team success, I'm hard-pressed to see people succeed under circumstances that he had to deal with Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley was just in over his head, and he had way too much rope to hang himself. And not only did he hang him, like it was double jeopardy on that neck. Like,
yeah, he was playing mad.
He was tripping. And you know, again, you have a coach now that understands how to win a football game. Understands that sometimes it don't require, you know, my quarterback trying to set a single game pass record. You know, we can hand the ball off a few times and kill some clock, play sound defense, make better decisions as far as special teams, you know, have the special teams more consistent, right? Being able to make kicks and some of those things, because they couldn't even make kicks. If you remember that Jacksonville loss in the playoffs, part of the reason they couldn't win the games because they couldn't make a kick late. It's just playing better complementary football. And then you see now that they believe, you know, Justin believes in Jim, you know, as a quarterback, just being able to bond with the Justin Herbert and being able to say, yo, I see these things you see, and trust me, I got you. And then seeing the trust me, I got you come into fruition. And then, you know, now they're dangerous now because half the battle is the confidence and the belief, and the team has it as a whole.
Jim said, he said he came out and said, I don't want to coach no other quarterback for the rest of my career. I want to retire with Justin Herbert as my quarterback. And there was another article out there I was reading that was saying so many teams pissed because they didn't hire Jim Harbaugh. Like, he's a proven winner. Right? Why wouldn't you hire him? Like, why would you let him go to Sandy? Why would you let him go to LA and coach Justin Herbert? Like,
that goes back to franchise arrogance, I would say, or ego. And Jim, he has an ego too, but you kind of want that out your coach. You don't want your coach to not think he's, well, let me rephrase. You want proven coaches to have an ego. You don't want Brandon Staley's to have an ego.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want that. Never go Brandon Staley.
Man, anything else I want to get off your chest before Monday night?
Must win, man. I don't want to see. I don't want to hear no excuses come Monday. We need to go and win a football game, and I think we will. We tend to bounce back, especially after losses. We're not the type of team to lose back-to-back games.
Embarrassing loss. That was just embarrassing. It just if you got, like you said, if you got Super Bowl aspirations and you go out there and play like that against, you know, you losing the game when a team didn't score a touchdown. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
And you can't lose back-to-back games. You can't lose back-to-back games to playoff AFC contenders. Teams firmly in the playoff mix. We gotta get this thing right. I think we will.
That's a fact. So on that note, we'll see y'all Tuesday for our breakdown of the Chargers Ravens. Everybody stay safe and be blessed. We out.
When I want some sports news, Nitty Gritty is definitely who I'm tuning into, man. They show up each week with that uncut, that raw, that unfiltered sports news.
They say the things that everyone else wishes that they can say, but they can't. Every Tuesday and Saturday, I am locked into my favorite sports show, Nitty Gritty.
Nitty Gritty, the best show out right now. Tune in and listen, stupid.